Hello, and a warm, heartfelt welcome to everyone joining me today. I am Dr. Caroline Bennett. Today, we are going to have a deep, essential, and perhaps surprising conversation about the most fundamental substance of human life. We are going to talk about the molecule that makes up 60% of your total body weight. We are going to talk about the substance that constitutes 75% of your brain matter and covers 70% of the planet we live on. We are going to talk about water. Now you might be thinking to yourself right now, Dr. Bennett, surely I do not need a doctor to teach me how to drink water. It is the most natural instinct we have. I get thirsty, I drink. It is simple. And yet, in my years of clinical practice and research into longevity and metabolic health, I have observed something truly startling. While we are constantly bombarded with marketing messages to stay hydrated, while we carry massive water bottles around with us like security blankets, and while we are told to drink 8 glasses a day, almost no one talks about how to drink water. We treat water like a simple numbers game. We treat our bodies like a bucket thinking, just pour the liters in and the job is done. But biology is not a bucket. Your body is a sophisticated, delicate chemical laboratory. It is a closed hydraulic system governed by precise laws of physics and chemistry. The way you introduce water into your system matters deeply. The temperature of the water, the speed at which you drink it, and the volume you consume at once. These factors can mean the difference between deeply hydrating your cells or shocking your nervous system. It can mean the difference between flushing out toxins efficiently or putting a dangerous, potentially fatal strain on your kidneys. Have you ever downed a glass of ice-cold water on a hot summer day and felt a sudden, sharp throb in your head? Have you ever chugged a bottle of water after a workout and felt your stomach slosh, your energy crash, and your belly bloat instantly? Have you ever drunk gallons of water trying to be healthy, only to feel foggy, lethargic, and constantly running to the bathroom without feeling satisfied? These are not coincidences. These are biological distress signals. Your body is trying to tell you that you are doing it wrong. Today we are going to explore the hidden dangers of drinking water incorrectly. We are going to discuss the vagus nerve shock caused by ice water and why it disrupts your heart and digestion. We are going to look at the terrifying condition of hyponatremia caused by overdrinking, understanding the exact mechanism of cerebral edema. And most importantly, I will teach you the hydration protocol, the scientific art of drinking water the right way to maximize your energy, optimize your biochemistry, and support your longevity. The thermal shock, the danger of ice water. Let's start with the most common habit in the Western world, particularly in the United States, the ice water obsession. We go to a restaurant, and the first thing that arrives is a glass filled to the brim with ice cubes. We finish a workout, and we reach for the bottle that has been freezing in the cooler. It feels refreshing on the tongue. It feels like exactly what the body wants. But physiologically speaking, dumping ice-cold liquid into your system is a thermal shock. To understand why, we must look at the concept of homeostasis. Your body core operates at a strictly regulated temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not an arbitrary number. This is the precise temperature required for your enzymes, the catalyst for every chemical reaction in your body, to function. Ice water sits at near 0 degrees Celsius. When you introduce that cold void into your warm core, you trigger a cascade of defensive reactions known as thermogenesis. Your body must immediately divert resources to heat that water. It burns precious energy stores, ATP, just to raise the temperature of the liquid before it can be utilized by the cells. You are essentially stealing energy from your healing, thinking, and digestive processes to act as an internal water heater. But the problem goes much deeper than just energy loss. It involves your nervous system. The vagus nerve connection, running down the back of your throat, right next to the esophagus and the carotid arteries, is one of the most important nerves in your entire body. The vagus nerve, also known as cranial nerve 10. This nerve is the superhighway of the parasympathetic nervous system. It is the longest cranial nerve, connecting your brainstem to your heart, your lungs, and your entire digestive tract. It is responsible for the rest and digest state, regulating heart rate variability and gastric secretion. When you gulp down ice-cold water rapidly, you stimulate the cold receptors in the back of the palate and the esophagus. This sudden, intense cold signal shocks the vagus nerve. Now, because the vagus nerve controls the heart rate, sudden stimulation can cause a reflex called a vasovagal reaction. It signals the heart to slow down immediately. In sensitive individuals, this can cause a sudden drop in heart rate, known as bradycardia. This leads to dizziness, lightheadedness, and in extreme cases, it can lead to fainting or syncope. That brain freeze you get when you eat ice cream? That is a mild neurological shock affecting the sphenopalatine ganglion, which is intimately connected to this same system. You are literally shocking your nervous system every time you gulp ice water. The enzymatic shutdown. From a digestive perspective, ice water is even more disastrous. I want you to think of digestion as a chemical fire. In Ayurveda, this is called Agni, or digestive fire. Biochemically, this analogy holds true. Digestion relies on heat. It relies on enzymatic reactions that happen best at body temperature. Your stomach produces enzymes like pepsin, which breaks down protein, and gastric lipase, which breaks down fats. These enzymes have an optimal temperature range for catalytic activity. When you pour ice water onto food in your stomach, you drastically lower the gastric temperature below the efficient operating range of these enzymes. The chemical reaction slows down or stops. Furthermore, ice water causes massive vasoconstriction. The blood vessels surrounding the stomach shrink rapidly to preserve heat for the vital organs. They pull blood away from the gut. This means there is less blood flow to the stomach to absorb nutrients and less energy to power the muscular contractions of digestion, called peristalsis. Finally, think about the fats you eat. If you have eaten a meal with healthy fats, like avocado, olive oil, steak, or butter, the cold water solidifies them instantly. Imagine pouring ice water into a greasy frying pan. What happens? The grease turns into a hard, white, sticky sludge. This is exactly what is happening inside your stomach. While your body will eventually warm it up again, you are creating an unnecessary, heavy burden. This leads to bloating, indigestion, and that heavy brick in the stomach feeling. This is why traditional Chinese medicine and ancient systems like Ayurveda have advised against cold water for thousands of years. They understand a simple truth. You do not throw ice on a fire if you want it to burn efficiently. The volume shock. The myth of chugging. Now let's move on to the second dangerous mistake. Speed and volume. I call this the chugging culture. We see athletes doing it in commercials. We see influencers carrying massive 1-gallon jugs, challenging themselves to finish the gallon by noon. The mentality is simple. If water is good for me, then more water, faster, must be better. This is scientifically incorrect, and it is physically dangerous. To understand why, we need to look at the anatomy of your kidneys. The renal limit GFR. Your kidneys are miraculous organs. They are the twin filters of your blood, containing millions of tiny filtering units called nephrons. They work tirelessly to balance your blood chemistry, remove toxins, and regulate blood pressure. However, like any mechanical filter, they have a maximum flow rate limit. This is determined by the glomerular filtration rate, GFR. An average, healthy pair of kidneys can process and eliminate about 800 milliliters to 1 liter of water per hour. That is roughly 3 to 4 cups. If you drink 2 liters of water in 20 minutes, perhaps after a run, or because you realized you forgot to drink all day, you are flooding the system faster than the drain can empty. The kidneys simply cannot turn that water into urine fast enough. They are overwhelmed. So where does the excess water go? It has nowhere to go but to stay in your blood circulation. The science of hyponatremia, water intoxication. This leads to a condition called dilutional hyponatremia, also known as water intoxication. To understand why this is deadly, we need to understand the physics of osmosis. Your blood is a delicate, salty soup. It relies on a precise balance of water and electrolytes, primarily sodium. Sodium is essential for life. It allows your nerves to fire signals. It allows your muscles to contract. But its most important job is regulating water balance inside and outside your cells. Biology dictates a simple rule of osmosis. Water moves from areas of low solute concentration to areas of high solute concentration to balance things out. When you flood your blood with plain water rapidly, you dilute the sodium in your blood serum. The sodium levels drop dangerously low. Suddenly, the salt concentration inside your body cells is higher than the diluted salt in your blood. Nature abhors this imbalance. So, the water rushes out of your bloodstream and into your cells to try and dilute the salt inside the cells. Your cells swell up like water balloons. If this happens in your muscle cells, you get cramps and weakness. If this happens in your gut cells, you get bloating and nausea. But if this happens in your brain cells, it is a medical emergency. Cerebral edema. Your brain is enclosed in a rigid container, the skull. It has no room to expand. When brain cells swell due to water influx, a condition called cerebral edema occurs. It creates massive pressure inside the skull. The brain pushes against the skull wall. The brain stem can become compressed. The symptoms of hyponatremia are terrifyingly similar to dehydration. And this is why people make the fatal mistake of drinking more. You feel a pounding headache. You feel nausea. You feel confusion and brain fog. You feel extreme fatigue. In severe cases, this leads to seizures, coma, and even death. We see this in marathon runners who drink at every single aid station. We see it in military recruits forced to drink water. And sadly, we see it in social media challenges where people compete to drink water. You do not need to drink gallons of water at once. You are not a camel. Camels store water in their humps, which is actually fat, because they walk days without drinking. You have a tap in your kitchen. You have a water bottle on your desk. Drinking massive amounts at once does not superhydrate you. It just creates expensive urine, stresses your kidneys, and risks swelling your brain. Dr. Bennett's hydration protocol. The right way. So we have dismantled the myths. We know what not to do. Do not drink ice water. Do not chug liters at once. How should you drink to optimize your biology? Here is Dr. Bennett's hydration protocol. This is the physiological roadmap for optimal cellular hydration. Step 1. The morning flush, the gastrocolic trigger. This is the most important water you will drink all day. You have been asleep for 8 hours. During sleep, you lose water through respiration, breathing out moisture, and transpiration, sweat. You wake up physiologically dehydrated. Your blood is thick and viscous. Your metabolic waste has accumulated in your liver and kidneys. The strategy: drink 300 to 500 milliliters of warm water immediately upon waking. Do this before your coffee. Do this before your breakfast. Why warm water? Warm water acts as a vasodilator. It expands the blood vessels in the gut. It helps to flush the digestive tract. It stimulates the gastrocolic reflex. This is a physiological signal sent from the stomach to the colon, telling it to empty. Drinking warm water first thing is the best way to cure constipation and ensure regular detoxification. It rehydrates the brain without shocking the vagus nerve. Think of it as a gentle morning bath for your internal organs. Step 2. The sip, don't gulp rule. Throughout the day, keep water near you, but drink it like you would sip hot tea or a fine wine. The strategy: take 2 or 3 swallows every 15 or 20 minutes. Why? This matches your kidney's natural filtration rate. When you sip slowly, the water is absorbed into the bloodstream gradually. This allows the body to transport the water into the lymphatic system and the tissues rather than just letting it run straight through to the bladder. You stay consistently hydrated. Your energy remains stable, and you avoid the bloating of a water belly. It acts like a continuous foredrip, providing constant hydration without the flood. Step 3. The temperature check. Stop treating ice as a necessity. The strategy: drink room temperature water, ambient, or cool water, like tap temperature, but not freezing. Why? It requires less energy for the body to utilize. It is bioavailable immediately. If you are overheating from intense exercise, cool water is fine to bring your core temperature down, but avoid the ice bucket shock to your gut. Your enzymes will function better, and your digestion will be smoother. Step 4. Electrolyte awareness, the sodium-potassium pump. This is the hidden hunger. Sometimes you drink and drink, but you still feel thirsty. Or you have a headache despite drinking water. This is often not a water shortage. It is a salt shortage. We have been taught to fear salt, but sodium and potassium are the electrical spark plugs of the body. They power the sodium-potassium pump in every cell membrane. This pump is responsible for transporting energy and water into the cell. If you lack electrolytes, the pump stops working. The water sits outside the cell, causing bloating, instead of going inside the cell, creating energy. The strategy: if you are drinking plenty of water but feel dry, add a pinch of high-quality sea salt, Celtic salt, pink Himalayan salt, or Baja Gold to your water. Alternatively, a slice of lemon adds potassium. Why? Water follows minerals. Without minerals, water just passes through you. The trace minerals help pull the water inside the cells where it is needed. This is true cellular hydration. The vessel, a critical warning on plastics. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the vessel itself. We are ingesting microplastics at an alarming rate. A recent study showed that the average liter of bottled water contains hundreds of thousands of nanoplastic particles. Cheap plastic bottles, especially when left in a hot car or exposed to sunlight, leach endocrine-disrupting chemicals like phthalates and bisphenol A BPA. These chemicals are xenoestrogens. They mimic estrogen in the body. They bind to your hormone receptors and disrupt your delicate hormonal balance. They are linked to weight gain, metabolic issues, thyroid disruption, and reproductive problems. The fix: buy a high-quality stainless steel or glass bottle. Fill it with filtered water at home. It is cheaper. It is better for the planet. And most importantly, it protects your hormones from plastic toxicity. Conclusion: respect the element. My dear friends, water is the medium of life. Every chemical reaction in your body happens in water, from the firing of a neuron that creates a thought to the contraction of a muscle that beats your heart. But we must treat it with respect. We must stop mindless consumption and start mindful hydration. I want to challenge you today. For the next week, try the warm morning flush. Put down the ice water. Stop chugging until your stomach hurts. Sip your way to health. Add a pinch of salt if you feel foggy. Notice if your energy stabilizes. Notice if your digestion feels lighter. Notice if that afternoon headache disappears. Your body is a temple, not a drainpipe. Treat it with gentleness. Treat it with intelligence. If this video has changed the way you look at your water bottle, if it has explained symptoms you've had for years but couldn't pinpoint, please leave a like and share this video. Share it with your gym partner who chugs gallons. Share it with your family. It is a small piece of knowledge that pays dividends every single day. I am Dr. Caroline Bennett. My mission is to give you the science to live longer, stronger, and healthier. Drink wisely, live well, and I will see you in the next video.